would you feel about sleeping in the same bed as your children and breastfeeding them until an age when they decided they wanted to stop? Well, they are just two of the concepts behind attachment parenting, a controversial American approach to raising a child that's gaining popularity here in the UK. When Time magazine released its controversial cover earlier this year of a mum breastfeeding her 3-year-old son, attachment parenting was thrust into the spotlight. And with at least 30 support groups now up and running in the UK, it's generating more British headlines than ever. The practice centres on 3 Bs: breastfeeding, baby wearing and bed sharing, with celebrity fans including Alanis Morissette and Alicia Silverstone. But despite its growing popularity, attachment parenting continues to divide opinion.
I think it's really important when they're born for them to be breastfed, because the bond, you know, it's amazing as long as you're, you know, respond to your child and cuddle them. I think you don't need a sling. I do wear a sling when it's convenient, when I need to have both hands, but all the time it's far too much for me.
When it comes to bed sharing, I take a very strict view, and it's not something that I ever wanted to do. So at no age was he in our bed.
With me now is Mum Michelle Matasini, who uses attachment parenting to raise her 4-year-old and 2-year-old daughters, and alongside Michelle is parenting author and mum Liz Fraser. Welcome to you both. And Michelle, what drew you to this style of parenting?
Well, it was a little bit clumsy actually the way I came across it, because I'd never heard of attachment parenting until my daughter was about 5 weeks old, and she couldn't sleep. Every time I put her down, she would cry. And of course, I wanted to hold her, and when I did, and she slept in my arms, that just felt wonderful. But you know, all this kind of social chatter in my head was saying, you can't do this. You'll make your child over dependent on you. You'll make her clingy, and she needs to learn independence. And so I thought I had to find out more about this, and so I started to read about sleep. And when I started to understand that actually, you know, she only has a quarter of her brain developed. She's a tiny creature who really just wants constant contact with me, and that's normal. Then I suddenly thought, gosh, all my instincts are being validated here. So it is okay to do these things, and so finding ways to support that. And it was a huge relief to feel that I could keep my baby close. And that was what she wanted, and it made me happy
what
too.
you very much felt was your instinct. Now, could you just take us through the 3 Bs? Let's start with the breastfeeding.
Okay. Well,
you still breastfeed your 4-year-old and your 2-year-old, is that right?
I do, yes. And it's interesting because I planned to breastfeed for 6 months and go back to work, and so I never had any appreciation of how central it might become to my mothering. But I think if you told me then that I would be breastfeeding my 4-year-old, I'd have been quite amazed, really.
But for you, again, it feels right. So again, it's an instinct.
It's a day-by-day relationship, really, and it feels very sustainable. I mean, if it wasn't mutually beneficial, we wouldn't be doing it, but it easily assimilates into our life. But feeding with love and respect is definitely not exclusive to breastfeeding. So there's attachment parents who bottle feed as well.
Okay, it doesn't just have to be. Okay, I want to move you on because I want to get through all the Bs. Next, bed sharing. Now, a lot of us have no choice because our children get in when we're fast asleep and con us into business, which is me. But you actually made that choice. You knocked down a wall in your bedroom. You made a huge bed, and all 4 of you sleep together. Now, I can understand that for the children that is absolutely wonderful, because all children want to sleep close to their parents. It's a lovely feeling. But how does that work for your relationship?
Well, we bed shared when our first daughter was born, and by some magic we have another daughter. It's not really by magic, I think we all know that. So clearly it doesn't totally stop.
And is your husband all right with that? Because I've got some friends that do attachment parenting, and I'm okay to say this because they're out of the country at the moment. She is very, very happy, but I've seen him slowly turn to ash and bone. He's not the man he was. How is that for the fella?
My husband says that waking up in the morning and seeing the 3 of us sleep peacefully next to him is like the best feeling in the world. And for both of us, it offers us a lot of reassurance. So those waking moments are really beautiful.
You have somebody that's 100% with you. Okay, I've just got to know, because we've got to cover a lot here. Baby wearing the sling idea. Now, how long does that go on for? Because you very much say this is baby-led, not baby-dictated. So what does that mean?
Well, the wearing the sling, that I mean, obviously you don't have to do that either, but it really supports and enhances attachment parenting approach, which is about responding sensitively and listening to the baby's cues and really knowing what's going on. And so the baby wearing, I mean, I baby wore a lot for her naps when they were very little, but as soon as the baby starts to be able to move independently and they can crawl off, then we're not restraining the child when they don't want to be held. And so I mean, my eldest daughter, she probably stopped going out in the wrap when she was maybe 2, and if we were out on a long walk. But for my youngest daughter, she decided at 18 months, I want to walk everywhere.
Okay.
So we use it so rarely now.
But it's to let Lizzie, because Lizzie's literally like, oh, she's like a lame, ready horse. Off you go.
Oh man, there's so much to say here. Look, I mean, one of the things that is so important with parenting is that you need to mix different, what we're calling styles of parenting. We've got attachment parenting, we've got baby-led weaning, we've got, controlled crying. There's all this kind of thing, and as some of your commentators said in the little clip that you played before, it's actually just to do with a bit of this and a bit of that. Now, important things are, in these very early weeks and months, yes, a baby, the time scale of a baby's needs, of a human's needs, grow as they get older. When they're newborn, when they're tiny, when they need feeding now. When they want to sleep, they want to sleep now. And so, yes, in those early weeks and months, it's very important to be very close to your child. But one of the roles of being a parent is to teach your child how to get on out there when they go into the real world, the world that we live in. So not in tribes, in cultures where we do all share one hut because actually that's all we've got. And so part of that job of parenting is letting them go more and more and more. And so a lot of the problems that people with long-term breastfeeding have is that you're not allowing your child to break free of that and to be independent. And the central problem with attachment parenting to the level that it can be taken is that you're telling your child basically that everything revolves around them. Everything revolves around them. They are the centre of the universe. Your job is to do everything that they want. And they are going to go out there one day, and guess what? The world doesn't revolve around them. And that's going to be a heck of a shock for that child. And lastly, the husbands, and the sex life, and the wives as well. I mean, I'm sorry, I have 3 children, but
I'm loving your passion, but I've got to stop. And what's been great is 2 very, very different opinions. So hopefully, thank you so much for coming in, both of you, and hopefully the debate will continue at home. So do let us know what you think about this. You can get in touch via the website as normal. Now, after the